wake up pretty much whenever, but usually, like, I try to get up around 6 or so, so I can check the market, see what's going on, make some trades when it opens. Um, but then I go to work at like, I don't know, 8, 9, something like that. Maybe 10 if I'm feeling extra lazy. Uh, and then, get back and do whatever. Not real regimented. Not real. Like I have particular times I want to do something. Just an idea. And throughout the week, um, it's just work and then hang out with friends whenever I have time. Yeah. So work, friends. No family drama. I don't really have drama. Um, it's funny because the other day I was out to dinner with some of my friends, and one of my friends was like, "Oh, didn't you see all that drama that was happening?" And I was like, "No, I didn't. I don't know what you're talking about." Uh, so I don't know. I feel like drama is just something that people do to themselves. And when you're not like trying to stress yourself out, life is super easy. Dude, it's so weird. The screen mirroring isn't on. I don't know how to turn it on for QuickTime. But, yeah, whatever. Anyways, friends. I don't know. My friends are cool. I love my friends. Super vague, I know. What are my interests? I'm interested in gaming. Um, I like all kinds of games, whether they be board games, card games, video games, sports. I define a game as anything where you have an objective and there are obstacles towards achieving that objective. And by that definition, life is a game. There's a lot of different ways that you can turn life into a game, and I think that just makes everything more fun. You have something you want to do, so you do it, and it's like, oh, how do you get around the problems that you're going to be facing? That's the fun of experiencing the world. Just how are you going to overcome any obstacle? Uh, so yeah, that's like my main interest. I also, of course, enjoy studying people. Um, I've been analyzing people for many years. Many. I'm a child. Okay, I'm like I'm a young person, only 27. So, uh, I don't know. I began my study of people when I was like, I don't know, really 17 was when I decided, okay, 18 actually. I figured out I wanted to like actually figure out what these people things are. Um, and so eventually, I did stumble upon personality typing. I didn't really care about it at the time, but I ended up looking at this stuff because I was like, oh, they like actually try to make it sciency and not a huge horoscope. Because like I went to 16 personalities, I read all the types, and I was like, huh, it looks like all of them are relatable in some aspects. Like I related to pretty much all of the positives, and like only like one of the negatives for one of the personality types. So I was like, oh. So they really just make it so that everyone will be like, oh yeah, I'm awesome because I have all the benefits of the type and none of the problems. Ooh, I'm so special. Um, but yeah, I started studying people just because I can't interact with people, I guess, normally. Like, I didn't have friends until I was like 20, 22, 23 or something, before I had a friend. So that's an interesting thing. And, of course, our friendship was spurned on by our mutual love of games, game design, game playing. So we did that. Um, oh yeah. So another interest, God. I'm a very theological person. Um, so when I study the Bible, I'm one of Jehovah's Witnesses. Uh, so I really enjoy getting close to Him and learning more and more about God. I actually put. It's funny. I put God to the test, as it were, when I was like 17. I I said, hey, I don't know, are you really a thing? And do you like actually have stuff you want me to do in life? So I prayed, and I already had, because I was raised Jehovah's Witness. I had basically the map in the Bible of how you're supposed to test God. Because some people are like, oh, he's contradicting because he says you don't put him to the test, and another scripture says do put him to the test. It's all about how you do it. He says don't test him by doing what's wrong and seeing if you get punished, but do test him by doing what's right and seeing if he'll bless you. So I did that. I gave him a year. I told him everything I wanted, and he just gave me so much more than that. And I was like, oh, well, now you're stuck with me. How do you like that? And even after that, he's just what a legend. Okay, God is such a boss. I said, here, you better do this, or in a year I'm out. And he just said, hold my beer. So there you go. Let's see what other interests. Oh, that's pretty much it, honestly. Obviously, stock market. I enjoy. I just like got into that. I've been investing for like 7 years or something, but just passively. I just got into active trading. And I'm like, this is way more profitable. That's awesome. Like as I looked into it more, it was like, huh. I was using this app called Stash, but it only lets you like get in and out of a position like once a day or something. I think twice a day is the most you can make a move. But then I'm like, wait a minute, you can get in like instantly and back out again on all kinds of different stuff. I'm like, give me that. So now I'm doing that. It's pretty cool. Hopefully I can get out of my job pretty soon. Well, we'll see what happens. Here it's really hard to actually just get good enough to where you can just make a living off of that. But practice, hard work, we'll get to it. It's a game. It's like the ultimate game, the market. I love it. Okay. One of the most stressful times in my life. It's funny. One time I honestly, like, dude, my life has been so cush. Like, easiest life ever. I was gonna say something else, but honestly, probably going to the dentist. I haven't been to the dentist in like 15 years. I'm like, why? Okay. Last time I went to the dentist, they, like, my mouth hurt for 6 months, and my teeth were super sensitive, and for like the next year, and I was just like, never again. That's dumb. And if all my teeth fall out when I'm 40, I don't really care. So, yeah, teeth. Who needs them? I enjoy eating food, but I'm already decided that if like serious repercussions come from this, I did it to myself. I don't care. I'm fine with it just for the sake of not enjoying the dentist. The thing I was actually going to talk about was there was this time I was hanging out with my friends. We all went to get dinner and ice cream and stuff, and there was this guy, like you could hear him coming. Okay, we're just outside this burger joint, and you could hear this guy just approaching, and he's by himself and cursing, and I'm like, this guy is gonna be a problem. He's like what the KKK thinks every black person is like. It's just unbelievable. Okay, and just causing problems. The place is closed. He like breaks open the door, and I'm just like, this guy is really ruining the vibe, threatening. Like, I know, if I'm uncomfortable, dude, everybody's uncomfortable. So, um, honestly, I was just like, this guy is probably gonna do something really stupid. So, I had a plan of attack or protect, whatever I was gonna do, and I'm probably, gonna fail epically because I'm not physically anything really. This guy was even taller than me. I'm tall. I'm like 6'3", but he's also an idiot. So, I just looked around the area, see what we could do if this guy tried to do anything crazy. Lo and behold, he like after arguing with the manager, the shop was closed. Like I said, he broke into the place and then wants to get a burger, and the manager told him to get out and all that stuff. But so he's leaving, and then he just like reached out to grab one of the people that we were with, and at the last second pulled his hand back. And in that instant, I was just like, wow, I'm actually gonna have to like kill this guy or something. Um, but you know, didn't happen. But I still like it. It actually gave me stress for like 3 days, and I was like, that's crazy because I never get stressed. I never like worry about anything. So that was a pretty concerning thing. Um, yeah. Other than that, like I don't know. One time I lost like $10,000 on a trade, and I was like, yeah. But that bothered me for like a day. You move on, you live and you learn. Anything else stressful? Like, I can't remember anything from my childhood really, but probably my parents divorced. That might have been hard. I don't remember. Um, I probably blocked it out of my memory because it was terrible. But yeah, it's like it's like the most stressful thing that's ever happened. Like I said, again, pretty cush. Dude, my life is easy. Okay, what are some problems you see with the world, dude? Main problem: people don't love God. That's the problem. They don't even know Him, and religion is just driving people away from Him. Dude, I hate religion so much. It's just disgusting. Like the things that they do. Uh, I'm sure you know all about it, right? Oh, somebody dies. Oh, God took them from you. That's why religion. It's from Satan. Uh, it's just a mechanism in order to make people think that God is some cruel, unkind person. He's awesome, so awesome, dude, and just the chillest and most loving individual if you just get to know him. Well, people don't know him, and I think that's the huge problem with everything. They don't understand him. Like even if you read the Bible, like people don't understand what is being said, or they don't actually read the whole thing. They don't get it. They don't get really the depth of his love and how much he cares about people. And I it was a journey for me to understand this and to understand just his prerogative with why he's letting the world be this way. All good reasons. It's just a matter of time. And when you look at the grand scheme of everything, of eternity, it all makes sense. Everything makes sense. I mean, I don't want to get too into like theology or whatever, but yeah. Oh, yeah, my phone just. But so yeah, I feel like that's the main problem. It's just people not knowing God, not loving Him. If you know God, you love Him, you become awesome because He's awesome, and you become. I know you guys say like, oh, you're the average of your 5 friends. I mean, if your friends are like here and just one of your friends is God and he's just dude, you're so much better off. And I mean, if you're a friend of God, you're a friend of Jesus too. And then, bam, okay, you have 2 friends that are. It doesn't matter that everyone else is in the gutter. Okay, that everyone else is trash. It's all good. Um. Okay. The one of the best times of my life. Hmm. I don't know. Really don't know. Really don't know. Um, I don't know. I try and enjoy every day. There's not like a particular moment that I was like, this is the best thing ever. Every day that I get to just, uh, like, my favorite thing to do is just hang out with my friends. So if I'm hanging out with my friends, that's the greatest thing ever. What's the greatest day of my life? The next time I get to hang out with my friends is the greatest day of my life. I love them so much, and they've really helped me a lot on my journey. I keep meeting more of them all the time, and I'm just trying to take each one of them and bring them into being a close friend. And as I learn more about each person, it's it's just life just gets better and better. And every time I think of these people, each of them reminds me of just why life is so great. I each one of my friends is a beautiful and awesome person who just is trying so hard to do what's right and to make everybody happy, and it's fantastic. I mean, we all have our quirks. We all have our difficulties. Like, I mean, obviously there's DI people. It's so funny. Okay, I'm gonna get to one of these tangents that you enjoy so much. I I was just thinking, like, the other day. I actually made a post about this on one of the Facebook groups, but I was like, why is it that people don't notice me? Like, I went to this restaurant, and I walk up to the table, and then nobody comes to talk to me, so I just reach around and grab a menu and start looking through it. Some other people come in, and then the waiter walks right by me, talks to them, gets them seat and all that. I'm like, dude. Um, but I started thinking about one of my friends, because another one of my friends, I went to go to dinner with her, and she was like, we went to this restaurant, and these people, okay, they said, oh, we're closed, we can't fit any more people, and there were like five of us, and she's just like, no, there's a table right there. She just said, no, we're gonna come in, sit, just make it work. And so we all just sat at the table, even though they said they were full and closed and couldn't take any more people. We just went in and sat at the behest of my friend here, who just, when she wants something, she'll just be like, oh, forget literally everybody. You know, I don't care about what anybody thinks. What I want is gonna happen. And I think it's funny because I really want to be there when that doesn't work and reality has to hit her somewhere. But at the same time, it gives me a better idea of, huh, you can bend reality to your will occasionally. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, of course, that was another one of the best times of my life because, hey, anytime I'm hanging out with my friends, I love to just get dinner and talk. That is what I love to do. Or breakfast or lunch. Okay, I'm down with all that. Breakfast, lunch, or dinner, just food, conversation. Um, there's nothing better, and that's just something that, like, you don't need anything to be able to do that, and that's the greatest thing about life. Is there's nothing more fun than just having an interchange of information, of opinion, of feelings, of thoughts, of theory, or of practical application. And you can do that with your friends anytime for free. It's great. Uh, yeah. Biggest challenge in my life right now. What do I really care about? Oh man, I really don't know, dude. I suppose I know something that people have asked me to work on, and I mean, I wish I was trying harder. I feel like my problem is I really don't care enough. But just being clean. Like, I do. There's a mess everywhere around me, and like, oh, my car, my room, just everything is a mess. I don't even care, and I wish I did. I need to, because people are uncomfortable when they're around like a messy area, and I want them to be comfortable around me. But like I don't care. I just need to like think more about them. I guess if I feel like if I focus enough on on this idea, because like I already said, like people, I love people. I want to hang out with them all the time. Um, and so I could hang out with them more if I could have them over to my place. Uh, but it's never clean, so I kind of just rely on everybody else to just set up things and hang out over there or wherever. Um, so maybe if I focus on that, I'll be able to make some progress there, and just cleanliness next to godliness, I guess. So I should work on that. But yeah, that's my struggle. I just really hate, like, I don't know, it's just repulsive to me, the idea of cleaning something. You know what it is? It has to be perfect. It just has to be like I don't even use like dishes, okay? Like I'm down to paper plates and cups because I I can't do it, man. Like if I have to clean a bowl, it's got to be perfect, and it's never going to get clean. It's like I've tried cleaning it, and it just, like, there's always another crack, there's always another piece of dirt or a watermark or whatever. That's why I just want to throw it away. Okay, I get a plate, I use it, I throw it away. Plastic forks, plastic spoon, plastic knife. I just throw everything away because if I have a bowl or a plate or something like that, I and I do something with it and I clean it, it's never going to be clean. Like the way I want it, it's never gonna get there. So I gave up on that long ago. I was just like, no, I can't. Nothing is gonna go the way I want it to. So I just need to accept everything for what it is, and I can make life easier on myself by not trying to make anything good. I just have to accept, you know, accept life for what it is and take it. And I just, I don't know, I don't have stress or anxiety. I just have so much peace, and I just love everything, yeah, about my life. So I'm still trying to refine things. This last question here is: what would your ideal life look like 10 years from now? Okay, maybe clean house. How about that? Clean house. Um, Not working. Figure out this day trade thing. I don't even consider that work. That's easy. That is, dude. I can get on there and make some trades. That's easy. Um, and things actually clean. If I have to hire a maid, you know what? I call that a win. Okay, I'll just freaking, yeah, I'll hire a maid or something. Uh, but yeah, clean things, have people over, and other than that, everything the same. Life is good. I I I enjoy life. I enjoy um, everything about life, and you know, there's not much I would change. Like I don't know how I could be happier. Uh, I just have so many people who love and care about me, and I love them and care about them, and they're teaching me also, how to love and care about others. It's not something that comes natural to me. I don't know if it has to do with the Asperger's. I have Asperger's, or ASD now, autism spectrum disorder. But like, it was really hard. Like, empathy, I didn't have it. That was one of the things that I asked God to help me with. Feelings, emotions, don't have them, but now I do. I had to like learn to cultivate these things. I practiced. He gave me the idea to um, attend as many funerals as possible. So I did that. I went to funeral after funeral after funeral as often as I could, and I just like tried to really experience all that feeling, all those emotions, and eventually, eventually I got it, man. I just, I was there. I started to cry, and I was like, yes. And they were like, what? uh, had to, had to, had to, I didn't even want to try and explain anything. It was just, but it was great. I love how we can continue to refine ourselves, and we can become something better, and progress really is the most beautiful part of life. I feel like, honestly, when I'm saying, oh, I don't really want my life to be any better, it's kind of like an admission of stagnation. But there's lots of improvements that I can do. I can always be a more loving person. I can always be a more encouraging person. Man, actually, something that has happened to me a few times, I've noticed, is that I've hurt people's feelings, and it really upsets me because I don't. I never find out from them. Okay, I find out later from somebody else, and I'm just like, why can't you just talk to me? I thought we were friends. But maybe they're thinking, oh, I thought we were friends too, and then you did this. Oh man, um, I really want to become more, I guess, socially aware, more attuned to other people's thoughts and feelings, because I mean, I really don't understand people. I've studied them. I've studied them for years, but like, um, I feel like I have a good grasp a lot of the time, but I just don't. I just don't know anything for sure. I in my high school years, and I played a lot of Mafia online, and basically, in order to be really good at the competitive high level Mafia, that's like, I mean, I don't know if you guys know what Mafia is, but it's like the precursor to Among Us. You probably heard of that. I don't know. But you have to basically discern intention through a bunch of text messages. And so, when you can, like that was like my main communication with people, was just in games of deception. So, like, I don't know, if you text me a bunch of stuff, I can usually figure out what the purpose is. Um, in a group setting or something like that, I can, because it's all about what people's objectives really is. When people are doing something, here's what I believe. I believe that people only do, like, they just go from point A to point B, straight line. Like, okay, let me get into this whole theory that I have about a desire hierarchy, okay, and a knowledge tree. These are some concepts that I've run by some of my friends, but I believe that we have a desire hierarchy, which is just things that we want. Now, your whole typing thing, that's about people's default programs, as you say, right? But what I'm talking about is behavior, which eventually gets written by your default programs. But just hear me out. I think that we have stuff that we want, and they're in priority lists, and we're basically just automatically calculating what's the greatest risk reward ratio for things, and we always go from point A to point B in a straight line, as straight as a line can be. Okay, if it's just one desire and we're here and we want something here, we're gonna do that every time. We're just gonna go right there. Obstacle in the way, we just, hey, okay. But like, let's say we have something here and something here. This is so weird with the screen mirroring. Okay. We're here, we want to get here, but hey, we also have a side goal here. Seeing how someone takes the path there, and then it veers a little, and then it gets right back to where they wanted. But in reality, we have lots of goals. We just have all these things that we're going to do. And I often use the classroom illustration, where it's, let's say that you're in a classroom, okay, and you have your bestie on the other side of the class. You're going to go towards them. That is what it is. If bestie's right next to you, you don't go anywhere. You're right there. Now, but are you going to go straight towards bestie if, maybe you've got someone who's not really bestie, but they're cool, they're chill, they're a home slice, a home skillet, okay? They're right there. You swerve a little, and you know what? You're going to say, hey, homie, what's up, And then you're going to catch up with bestie. but you'll do a slight deviation because that is an alternative objective. Man, why did I bring this up? There was a reason. I hate that so much. I really just, it's so frustrating. There was a reason I brought that up. Sometimes when I'm talking with people on like Zoom, I actually write down the talking points that I want to do while other people are talking. I write them on my notes here. I wish I could do that in person. Just like I have a little. I don't believe in hardware. I'm all digital. Okay, nothing hard. No pens. No, get that out of here. Okay, I'm new school. But if I could just somehow make little digital notes. Hey, they talked about this. Here's your options. You can go this route, this route, or this route with your conversation, and maybe we can exhaust this dialogue option and then move on to the next one. It's all a game. Okay, it's all a game to me. Well, that's terrible. Now, like, I don't even want to continue explaining this because I don't remember why I brought this up. Oh, Mafia. That's what it was. So basically, the reason I bring up the desire hierarchy, knowledge tree, I'll say that real quick. I just think that basically all the information we have is a knowledge tree, and it's just a series of connections between items. An item doesn't have to be a physical object. It can be even the smallest piece of data, or a property of an object, or an idea that we record. And all of our knowledge is just a connection of tiny little pieces of data and what they're connected to. And the reason I bring that up is because in Mafia, you're discerning intention through little pieces of data. So I can really discern. I think you can easily discern intention when you realize that people always do point A to point B. And the question you have to ask is, what is the goal? And when someone makes an action, you can say basically, like, okay, the person went from here to here. Here's the spectrum of goals that they could have had in doing this. And because I'll notice that people who are on opposite teams will perform the exact same behavior for different reasons. And you could perform the behavior because of limited knowledge. The behavior ultimately can be good, bad, or neutral for any party. But if you're like doing something that's counterproductive to your own team, whatever that team may be, we can talk more broadly, but usually it's because of lack of knowledge. And that's why I'm saying the knowledge tree is either incomplete or it's falsified because you've made connections to the wrong things and you just don't have true knowledge. True knowledge would be literally knowing everything. If you had true knowledge, you could always make the right decision. You could always optimize the acquisition of your desires. But when people are in person, it's still hard for me to really understand because when something is in text, I can actually look back and read all of the text again with true knowledge. Like, I know exactly, like after a game of Mafia, you know exactly what everybody's role was. You know what everybody was doing and why they were doing it. And even with like the game chat after, sometimes people are like, oh man, that was so good. Why did you do that? This is what I was thinking. I was hoping that you would think this. And it's like, oh, it just gives me so much insight into the way people are thinking during the game and after. But in the game of life, it's so complicated, and I wish I had a photographic and eidetic tonal memory, but I don't. And I would love to go back and analyze everything and just say, this is why. I now understand. But people are complicated, like vastly more complicated than a simple role in a game. Like, people don't even know what their own roles are, and they're doing whatever. And oftentimes they don't have a purpose. But, when they do have a purpose, sometimes that can be discerned. I don't think of myself. It's funny. I think of myself as, like, everything that happens, it's not like I foresaw it, but it wasn't a surprise, because that narrowing down thing that I'm doing, it's like I'm starting with, I see an action and I'm like, here's the spectrum of what it can be, and with each action someone takes, the circle is getting smaller and smaller until you're like, oh, that's so hard to do. Okay. Until you're like, this is what they are, this is why they're doing this thing. And I feel like that's how it is with everything. It would be shocking to me if like I'm doing this whole narrowing down thing, and then all of a sudden, someone's here and bam, they take an action that's like, oh, over here is what I'm actually doing, or it's over here, and I'm like, wow, I didn't expect any of that. But really, I think that's my whole thing, is you just have to go through life and take it. And you can't really say, just from a small amount of data, that it's this specific point right here. Okay, you can't say that that's where we're at from a small sample of data. I mean, you get a small sample of data, you can say, okay, it's in this area. And I think that, I don't know, my mom is one of those people that's like, just sees not even data, just makes up some data she didn't even see, and is like, bam, right there. And anyways, it's interesting. A couple of my friends have actually had some serious mental health issues. Some of them before I knew them, some of them during, but like one of them, went crazy and was like, got schizophrenia and what's that other word? Oh, psychosis. There we go. And, thought everyone was out to get them, and just like ran away. Didn't tell anybody, just went out, and they thought that the whole world was trying to chase them and deport them, and oh my goodness. They took some medication and got better. It's all good. But I just think it's crazy how that can happen. And I've actually, I've seen that happen to another person slowly. And then it's like, they get more and more out there. And all of a sudden they hit this point where their actions are now reflective entirely of this thing that they've been mulling over for years without telling anybody. And they're in full-blown crazy town. And when you see what they're saying, you can look back and be like, wow, I didn't realize that those little things that you were giving me were indicative of how really messed up you were becoming. It's really interesting. I don't know why I brought this up. Is that channel changing? I'm sure it is. Man, that's all the questions. I'm surprised it actually took this long. It's 38 minutes. I don't know how I'm going to fill up the rest of this time. I guess I could look back over this stuff, ramble on some questions, completely skip others. The real me. What is the real me? I feel like you are who you decide to become. I know you guys are like, oh, your default programming, that's who you are. And I agree that we have our inclinations to, be whoever. But I also think that once you become aware, self-aware, once you become conscious, you can now choose to change. You can choose to change your behavior, not your wiring. You can choose to change your behavior, and you've seen that with the alphas and stuff. You can actively use demon functions and functions you don't even have. You can emulate them, and I think that that's when things get better and more interesting. Take the time to decide that you are going to become a better person, and that's what I did. I decided. I'm not saying I'm in an alpha state or anything, but I'm probably all backwards and upside down. I don't even know my type or anything like that. But what I am saying is I did make a decision to change when I when I put God to the test. I said, I'm going to become this person that people love. I'm going to care about people, because I didn't. When I was younger, I just felt like human life had no value. And it's funny, I was never suicidal. I never had depression. I had like the opposite of that. I think it's mania. It's like, because like a depressed person, I think they want to kill themselves. I was like, I want to kill everybody else. It's funny. My uncle was like, when I was when I was like maybe 8 or something. He says, "Do you feel like you belong here?" And I said yes. And he said, "That's good." But I was I guess I was waiting for a question that he didn't that I shouldn't have expected him to ask. But if he would have asked, I would have told him that I don't think everybody else belongs here. I think I belong here, and everybody else, they need to go. But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Here, I'll tell you something that I often tell people about my youth. I'll tell you about some things in my childhood. Um, when I was really young, this is like a core memory. I what is it? So I was on the internet. I was like 4 or 5 or something. I can't remember if I was in school yet. I could already read and write and everything, do multiplication, division before I got into kindergarten. But I was on the internet, and I saw, like, I was on yahoo.com, and I saw the guy. I don't remember his name. I'm really bad with names, okay? I don't remember anyone's name. But I saw the guy who was 92 years old. That's what it said. Famous, whatever, 92, dies. And I got so sad over somebody that I'd never met dying. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing ever. Why am I so upset over, somebody died who I don't even know, when people die every day, all the time, all over the world. Ooh. And, so I took some time to think about it, and I thought about everybody dying. I thought about me dying, about all my family dying, and I went to the bathroom and cried for a while, and just processed everybody dead. And so I got over it, and I said, "Huh, well, if that's how the world is, there's no sense crying over anybody dying. It's just going to be more dying." So at that time, I already, kind of did my pre-grieving for everybody. Some people are like, "Man, how are you like this after people I know have died?" And I'm like, well, they didn't die. To me, they didn't die when they died. They died years before, when they said they have this medical condition, they're going to get checked out. They were already dead. But, it was, so I grieved secretly beforehand. Yeah. Something else that happened is, oh yeah. So when I was in school, I was getting bullied. This was in kindergarten. Actually, no. This was first grade, because I was at the other school. Okay. And I came home from school, and by the way, I don't remember any of this. Okay, this is my parents retelling me. But I came home from school, and I just had blood on my face, and all this stuff, all swollen. And my father says, "What happened to you?" And I told him that the kids were kicking me, and so he spent that day telling me to fight back, and he had me hit him over and over again until he felt like I was actually giving it my all. So he made me punch him, uh, and just keep punching him until I was punching effectively. And he said, "Okay, keep keep going. And if anything like that happens ever again, okay, you punch the other person like that, and you don't stop until the teachers pull you off of that person." And so, interestingly enough, the very next day, I was getting bullied again, and so I beat the guy until, the teachers pulled me off of him. And my father was called into the principal's office that day and said, you know, this is his retelling, right? He says, so they said, "So what happened?" "Oh, your son beat up a kid at school today." So he's like, "All right, give me five." So, oh man, and you know, so they had like one of the other schoolgirls who saw the whole thing. It was like, "Well, what happened here?" And they said, "Oh yeah, the other guy hit Jake, and then Jake beat the crap out of him." So there you go. So that's funny. It's one of those things that I think those two moments, with the crying over everybody dying, and the lesson of when you face a problem, you can just brute force your way and destroy it. Because I didn't get bullied again after that. Yeah, I think that kind of shapes some of the ways I do things. I let a lot of things go, but if something is a problem, I will completely destroy that problem. It will never happen again. I will make sure of that. But, yeah, I suppose that a lot of the times, though, things don't bother me. People are being stupid. Well, people are stupid. What are you gonna do? um, you can get rid of them in a lot of different ways, or you can just chill and enjoy life. Because one way to just not have to deal with stupid people, usually at least, is to not have them as your friends. And I think that's why I don't have a lot of drama. Well, actually, that's not true. Earlier, I was saying I was there. I was there at the same table as my other friend who was like, "Oh, so much drama." And I didn't know what in the world she was talking about. She was talking about later on. I was talking to her, and she was like, didn't you see like this person was trying to get with this person, and this is all weird because I've been with this person before." And I'm like, okay, I don't understand people who are doing the whole relationship game. I'm like, why? Okay, I don't understand any of it. I want to, though. I want to understand why people feel the need to, like, uh, I don't know, be with another person in a special way. Me, I have never needed anybody. Like I said, right? Like, I got my first friend when I was 22, 23. And I, I've just been enjoying myself. And people are like hurting themselves so much trying to be with other people. Meanwhile, I am just friends with everybody. And friendship is beautiful. When you're friends with someone, like, you can really help them. You can always be a benefit, I feel. And maybe if you do become like a very special friend, like you marry somebody, you can be the ultimate friend to that person and help them in every conceivable way and just always be there for them forever, and that's pretty cool. But I don't know, what are you going to do? Marry everybody? If they could, I'd actually be interested in that, because then I could really just enjoy the company of all my friends to the max. But yeah, it doesn't quite work. So I enjoy being friends with everybody, and I don't feel a need to do anything other than that, because what I really value in friendship is an interchange of encouragement, like people talking about the different ways that they think about how they've been overcoming their difficulties, or I guess winning their game. And I think that's interesting. Uh, how people can, you know, better get ahead in life, as far as just providing for themselves and those who belong to them. Um, and how people can just be nicer to each other. And obviously, a lot of my friends are also Jehovah's Witnesses, so they all are very encouraging and supportive. With we all encourage each other to just stay the faith, and stay close to God, and keep up our relationship with Him. Man, okay, here's a tangent. It's interesting. I don't understand why people don't believe in God. And now, I don't believe that science and God are different things, because I've I've studied a lot of science and stuff, and I love science so much. Like I said, the reason I got into this was because you were so clearly about science, and I was like, yes. And they're like, we have data, and I was like, data. Oh, yes, give me that data. But people, okay, for example, one of my favorite I watch like lectures from Stanford on YouTube. Robert Sapolsky. Okay, he is a behavioral biologist. Uh, Fascinating information. He talks a lot about similar things too. I think you guys would really like his lectures. It's he talks about behavior in animals, the limbic system, and all this other stuff is very fascinating. But he believes in evolution. He doesn't believe in God, and I'm just like, why? I really want to know why somebody doesn't believe in God. And universally, what I've found is, when you analyze it, because I went to his interviews, okay? I went to his interviews, and I've looked at people asking, because they always ask that question, so why don't you believe in God? And it's just the most unscientific thing ever. He says, you know what, one day I just woke up and decided that there's no God. It all made sense. There is no God. And he'll say, and I got depression. Of course he did. Just the most unscientific things ever. After studying something that has so much logic and reason to it, such as behavior in animals and in humans, and yet the beauty of these vastly complex systems, he looks at all of it and just thinks it came about randomly. What I really think happened, because he was raised Orthodox Catholic, what I really think happened is that he saw that God was not with the Catholics. And so then he was like, there is no God. And again, religion, taking people away from God. That's what I actually believe, and I believe that he doesn't want to openly admit any of that. I'm afraid that also maybe something happened to him, which has happened a bit. but I don't know. I don't want to speculate. But, you know, something like that would make you really question whether somebody had God on their side, and the answer is no. No, they don't. Stephen Hawking, incredible the things that he's learned. He's studied the universe, and the universe is amazing. But he sits there and talks. He writes his book, and goes over the greatness of the universe, the profound complexity, the logic, the beauty of it. And he says, all things considered, there is no God. if like any of the forces that are holding this thing together, the force of gravity, the electromagnetic force, nuclear force, if any of those things were off by even the tiniest fraction, the whole universe would fall apart. It's really something how all of those came together so perfectly to hold this. Scientists are like, oh, we're going to create life. We're going to make it in a lab. And you know what? I hope they do. Okay? If they are able to set all the conditions just right so that they can create a human in a lab, that'll just prove that it took forethought and intention and design to make something so awesome. Humans are awesome. And I don't know, but it's really interesting the way people think. I think that it's all just a way of avoiding accountability, because we're all accountable, we're all responsible, and people need to be responsible for themselves. And not believing in God is an easy way to just dodge everything. Just a thought. If people found a cell phone on the ground, they'd be like, oh, somebody must have left that there. And they certainly wouldn't think that the cell phone evolved from a rock over millions of years. And its complexity is nothing compared to even the simplest organism. The simplest organism is able to replicate. It's a machine that that builds itself over and over again. It can take in nutrients from such a wide variety of things. Like, you think about us, like, imagine all the different types of food that we can take in, and it all gets converted into something that allows us to continue to grow and reproduce. And life itself is not optimized, just for existence, as the traditional theory of evolution would suggest. It's optimized for enjoyment. Life is great. We're forced to take in nutrients from the outside world in order to survive. And in doing so, we enjoy such beautiful things as, a steak or a wine or a scotch, I could go for a nice, my drink of choice, old fashioned with a shot of amaretto. Oh, baby. I will take that. I'll take that every day and night. Give me that with a nice steak and lobster. Praise God, that's all I gotta say about that. Anyways, 1 more minute to go. How much more rambling should I do? Oh, someone's coming home.